sir. Can I help you?
Yeah, I'm interested in purchasing this Mercedes.
You are?
Yes, I am.
Wonderful.
How much are you asking for it?
Well, we're accepting offers.
You're accepting offers. Well, what kind of offer are you looking for?
Well, we've received a number of very aggressive offers.
The highest of which was?
Well, I'm not at liberty to say, but let's just say I'd be very surprised if this car was here in a week.
Well, you can't at least give me a ballpark?
Well, just accepting offers. Well, how much do you want to pay?
Well, in the ad it said POA, price on application.
That's right.
What does that mean?
Well, we're sort of testing the waters.
And what are the tests of the water show?
That it's very, very hot. The water is extremely, extremely warm.
How the heck am I supposed to buy this car if I don't even know what kind of price you're looking for? I mean,
well,
obviously I'm here.
Well, how much money do you have? What's your budget?
I could buy any damn car in the showroom if I wanted to.
Fabulous. Okay,
But
so
I want to know what you're asking for this car.
Well, we're asking a fair market price for it.
Well, what's a fair market price? I don't even know.
Well, so we'll stop our role play there. And how many of us have maybe not encountered this exact scenario at a car dealer? But this is to preface our little segment on the 3 surefire ways not to sell your car with Bill Greener, all the way over on the far left. Bill, you might have to come in to get into the frame. With Pierre Hedary, all the way from Florida, and I'm Dave Tobin, we're at Tobin Motor Works. So this will be our segment on the 3 surefire ways to make sure that you do not sell your car
and piss everybody off
in the process.
Will you take 12 for this one?
And this is going to be our segment we like to call the 3 best ways to make sure you do not sell your car with a classified ad. We all spend a lot of time looking at cars for sale online. Is that correct? How many hours, or if you're even willing to say how many hours a week do you think you spend looking at classifieds?
It's not a direct or measurable investment, but I know that I do it a lot.
Bill?
A couple hours at least.
Okay. I'm the same way. I'm always looking at.
Well, that's good for you. It's good revenue for you.
Well, I'm just always looking at it. So, the 3 things, and we're generally talking about price in this segment.
Now, do you guys hold on? Do you guys look passively, or do you look for specific cars that you're actually trying to purchase?
I think sometimes it just depends. Sometimes I just search by year on Craigslist and see what I can find that's interesting from 1983. Because if it's just a low mile enthusiast car, that could be of interest to me. More often than not, I'm looking for specific Mercedes years. I'll search a year in Mercedes and just see what comes up and see if I like it.
What about you, Bill?
Well, I like to look at cars that I either own or I have owned and try to compare prices that I may have bought or sold a car for.
Smart.
From what it's currently going for. I also like to try to learn the market a little bit and have an appreciation of the values of different cars at different times.
I always have to look at the purpose. So if I'm going on there, it's because I'm trying to find a specific car, or at least figure out what examples are available.
You bring up a good point, Bill, because when you're trying to figure out what the market is, these 3 things that we're about to touch on will annoy you to no end.
That's right.
I think my biggest pet peeve is when I see the words, you read maybe 4 or 5 paragraphs into a classified, there's not a price, there's no price to be found, and it says, or it's the first line in the ad that says, I'm just testing the waters. So what does that mean?
It means I'm going to strangle somebody.
I think it means that I don't really want to sell my car. I just want to find out how many people are going to call me about it, and if it's a lot of people, then I'm going to come up with some stupid high price.
Right.
I mean, is that what that's saying? I just testing the waters.
What about you, Bill?
Well, a lot of people think that they have the best car on the market and it should bring, 1.5 to 2 times what the average same car would reasonably bring because it's theirs and there isn't a better one out there. So I always know that when any of these 3 phrases come up, that somebody is probably looking for an unrealistic price, and if you're dumb enough to buy it at that price, then that's what it is.
Right.
But
Let's go with number 2.
No.
No?
No.
What,
Testing the waters is probably just annoys me as much as it annoys you, because I find the person that uses that phrase is usually like is either a millennial, or there's some guy in their 40s that doesn't have a freaking clue and they think they know everything. You know, they might be a little older than that, but generally they're tech savvy or whatever. And actually what I find is they don't appreciate the car. They don't put any investment into the car. They don't actually know the car very well. They're not testing the waters in a great car. Usually the testing the waters car is a pile of crap. Or if it's not a pile of crap, it needs a bunch of work to bring it up to decent usable car standard. But it will typically be already priced at decent usable car standard. Recently I was looking at a Mercedes 240 TD, which is a rare, unusual car that was in Seattle. The car had a dent in the front fender. The interior was disgusting. It really had no maintenance. You could just tell that somebody was driving this thing around, because a 240D is a reliable car. So not a pile of crap at all, but the guy's like, testing the waters for my 84 240 TD super rare Euro wagon. You know, it's the first reaction I had was, this guy's probably just some sort of enterprising twit who thinks that he's got something special, and really the truth is that he deserves to be left in a highway somewhere with no clothes in the middle of Arizona on a hot day. That's all.
All right, know how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
The next one that drives me crazy is you read down through the classified, they might give you an entire history lesson of the particular model, which is another annoying thing in classified ads, that when somebody writes the entire history of the car and when the company introduced it and all the changes.
Right, and then they give you 3 little details about the car.
Right, but when it comes to price, it says accepting offers. So what's the first thing you think of when you read accepting offers?
Well, one, that the person doesn't really know what the value of the car might be, and they're trying to get an idea of what somebody willing to pay for this thing.
What do you think when you hear accepting offers?
I think this is a waste of my effing time.
When I see accepting offers, I assume that it's such a huge number that I can't begin to afford the car, and that it's probably a completely unrealistic number.
For fun, sometimes I'll send those people an email, and I'll say something like, and this is especially true, I will see like a 280 SE 4.5 or a 280C or a 250C that's been modified, like lowered with air suspension,
wheels out like
stupid wheels on it, and they'll say at the bottom, accepting offers. And you can tell they didn't do any mechanical maintenance or repair to the car, that it's not really a very usable car. And they'll say accepting offers. I'll email them and I'll say, so now that you've figured out you've bitten off more than you can chew, or ruined this car, or that this car is too technically challenging for you, you've decided to throw it out there with the ambiguous asking price. You know, I will just send them an email like that, and I'll usually get a nasty response back.
Yeah, do you ever get a response?
Oh yeah, I do, and they're always nasty. So typically, I'm going to say this: if somebody says accepting offers, they're usually a jerk.
Well, it may be also that somebody has this fantasy that they're in a room with 4 people that want this car, and one's going to say, I'll give you 15, and the next guy's going to say, no, I'll give you 16, I'll give you 17, I'll give you 18, and you're accepting offers from these bidders that just, whatever it costs.
I'll give them a pair of my dirty socks.
I need it.
I think that it opens them up to really stupid lowball offers that are going to annoy them. But
I think sometimes if somebody has something that may be flawed or have a big problem with it, they don't know, well, I can't ask, you know, the going price of a running car. How do I know what this thing is worth? It's got rust, it doesn't run, so I'm going to accept offers, and, you know, I'd like to get 1,000 for it, but maybe somebody will offer me 2,500.
Right.
And so I think you have to be wary that maybe there's something really wrong with this thing, and the guy will really pretty much take what you're willing to offer for the thing.
Right.
You're giving me 500 for that? Yours.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Third, we've got POA, price on application, or if it just says inquire next to the price. That's a tough one too, because again, I just assume that if if you have to ask, it's too,
That's the fancy pants version. That's like the RM or Gooding Auctions version of
POA is.
Of POA is of accepting offers or testing the waters, I think.
Yeah, but so here's a
But they do
here's
have
a
a
private
price in
sale
mind.
though of a Ferrari GTO or a long wheelbase or one of these beautiful rare cars that's going to sell for 22 million or 38 million. You're not going to advertise in a magazine. I want 38 million for my car.
POA is a nice way of saying
that's true.
This.
But on some level, you're right about that. Like
POA
it's
is
legitimate.
appropriate at certain times,
Right.
like with the Ferrari
Multi-million-dollar
250
vehicles.
GTO.
But when you look at there's a seller on Hemmings in the Netherlands. It's a big dealer, and all of their stuff is super high priced. But almost every single one of the cars that they have say, it's in.
Yeah.
It's on the other side of the ocean, and it says inquire, inquire, inquire. And when they do put a price on something, I mean, they're always just super crazy high, and you've got to call them, and then they start talking to you. And I wonder if they don't tailor their price based on who they think they're talking to.
Well, leading into this, okay. So there are times that it's okay to use POA, and there are times that it's not. Bill identified a time when it's totally appropriate.
Right. Yeah.
Now, I think it's not appropriate if you have something like a 94 SL320 that has 60,000 miles on it, and you put POA.
Right.
There's
Or
no way.
inquire,
Yeah, there's no way that with comparable examples in the market, you should have any business saying that. You need to let people know what your car is priced at, because then you're actually going to have a chance of selling it. Now, POA is appropriate when either it is the absolute best car in its class, like a 2,000 mile SL320, or when there just aren't any other examples available at the time. Like if they were selling the Bucciali Dubluit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's one other rationale, strategy. I know there's a company out in Oceanside, California that specializes in restoring Jaguars.
Oh, right.
And it's a, classic showcase, whatever.
Yep.
And they always advertise nice cars, but they never advertise a price. It's always POA. And I've emailed them several times. I wanted to know a price. And it does give the seller then, if somebody's interested enough to make the call or make the contact, then they have the opportunity, well, let me tell you a little bit about the car and sell it and market it. And that's why they didn't want to just blurt out the price. Maybe there are some special features about this car that I'd like you to know about before you just see the price and say,
Like the fact it had
I'm not,
500
I can buy the
hour-
same car for $5,000 less. Well, maybe you can't because you really don't know about this car.
There are cars out there, you're right, that have been so well restored. And in fact, I've attempted to do that before with cars like my 300 CD that is, I've moved back and forth in selling my 24,000 mile 300 CD. If I were to advertise it, I don't know if I'd put a price down. I mean, I kind of, as a seller, would want to, because I feel like it would weed out people having a price there. But POA sort of draws you in if your level of curiosity is high enough, right, Bill?
Yeah. Well, and I think that the purpose of these three things are really sort of for the regular guy who's putting a car on Hemmings or Craigslist
POA
or
should
whatever.
not be anywhere on Craigslist.
But yeah, that's true. Yeah. But you do see inquire is more for really something that dealers do. But it's the testing the waters, accepting offers. Ultimately, when you pick up the phone, you have to have a number in mind, even if it's unrealistic, even if it's the other thing that's kind of annoying that you hear. Well, on your 86 560 SL with 103,000 miles on it. Well, I've got 19 in it.
I got 19 in it.
And
well,
we all know that that's completely irrelevant how much you
send
have
me
in
your
it.
address. I'll send you a sympathy card.
We've identified the things not to do. What are the things to do to help you sell a car? How should you advertise it?
Well, I think you should have a price in mind, right, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, bottom line. And even if that's, I think, as long as we're talking about cars that, the stuff that we've been talking about, there are comps for 560 SLs, even really low mile ones, because there's zillions of those cars out there.
What about cash, Dave?
Oh, well, we can talk. So, but I think you have to find, and if you want to go, if you want to, you look at the market, you figure out what the car is probably realistically going to go for. And so inflate your price a couple $1,000s or some percentage, so there's some negotiating room for people. But I think that's how you have to do it. I mean, everybody asks a little bit more. Everybody wants to do a little bit of negotiating, and I think that's just how you do it. But I think you have to look, what can the person calling me today buy a similar car for?
Mhm.
And you just look at those numbers, and you can be on the high side of those, you can be on the low side of those, and you just pick it. Right, so the whole cash thing, when somebody says, you know, I've got a car for $17,900, and they say, you know, I'll pay $15,000 cash right now. I'm not sure what they think, what other forms of legal tender I take.
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin or, you know.
Well, I think it means, look, you don't have to wait for me to get financing. If you want your money today, you can have your money today. I'm going to give it to you right now.
Right, and $100 bills, theoretically, I can pretend that I only got 13. Well, no, you can't really do that.
But there is some value in expediency, and probably more so for private individuals rather than
I have
dealers.
money burning a hole in my pocket, I guess. That's what it says.
Or,
but-
you know, I want to buy something else, and I can't do it until I sell this car. And
Right.
so I want to sell this car really quick, so I'm willing to maybe take a little less if somebody's willing to give me.
I think the term cash here doesn't actually mean cash. It means we'll do this right now and get it over with painlessly.
Right.
But you're going to have to give me a freaking big discount.
But yeah, usually the number attached to that's so stupid, I just want to respond. I mean, I can't respond the way I really want to.
right.
But, you know, I
I
don't.
can't convert this into
I
a
think
more
it's a
valuable
stupid thing.
commodity.
I think it's a dumb. I don't think it's a smart thing to say.
Well, the
because it's like I don't take. You know, I mean, I guess I would take gold coins, but I don't take baseball cards. I don't take Hollywood memorabilia. You know, cash is, you know, and it also implies that usually the offer that comes along with that word is, you know, well below the market, and somebody assumes that you're in real trouble to take that much money.
Right. Yeah, it's true. It's not like
Nobody
you can,
said you want 17,900. I'll give you 17,500 cash. You know, like, well, you know, I don't take positive blood.
Well, it's almost like they're saying cash can be converted into a more valuable commodity, which it can't. That's cash is that's the standard. You know, it doesn't matter whether it's electronic or paper. It's the value of the dollar.